All right, on this episode of PhilmPod, we are going to be talking about TV shows primarily. We're going to be talking about Rooster, Season 1 review, Devil May Cry, Season 2 review, and finishing off with Off Campus, Season 1 review, special show on Amazon Prime Video, can't wait to talk about it, and then we'll probably have a little surprise for you guys later. But anyways, welcome to PhilmPod, where we break down films in the way anyone can enjoy. Whether you're new to movies or a season fan, you're in the right place. And here we go with our first review, and it's going to be about Rooster. But before I get into it, guys, we are in May. It is almost summer, and I'm just so excited that we're about to get into a whole bunch of movies, series, different stuff, because I know this week it's Mando and Grogu, and then after that we have Spider Noir, which I can't wait to be reviewing episode by episode, or I believe the whole season. I don't know which one, if it's going to be episode each week or all episodes out straight up, but just know a lot of these, especially when it gets to Spider-Man Brand New Day, this is going to be a good stinking summer. It's going to be very good. Last summer was really good. F1, I'm trying to remember a lot of them. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but last summer was a really good movie year. And then this year we got a lot of blockbusters. I can't wait for Supergirl. I can't wait for Lanterns, which we keep seeing more and more stuff on, but this is going to be a good summer, and I'm very excited. The Odyssey, man, like, I'm trying to remember the last time a summer was this great. Maybe when, I feel like Jaws was a summer movie. I don't know, but I'm just excited, and I can't wait to share a lot of these reviews with you guys, or my thoughts, what you guys think, and I want to hear back from you guys when we get to it. But without further ado, let's get into the first review. If you guys don't know, we did a review, me and Izzy, at the start of watching the show called Rooster, and then we agreed that we were going to do a review right after we finished the whole thing. Obviously, Izzy's not here to do it, but I'm going to do it with you guys. And the season finale for Rooster came out last week, and finally got to watch it. I liked it. I liked the show. Overall, I thought that the jokes were very funny. I thought the characters, especially supporting cast in it, was really good. But I was really impressed with Steve Carell's character, Greg, who plays a professor, like a cool, like, everybody wants to be this guy's friend type of professor, and also a dad who was very good at parenting, but also, like, you know, there's obviously flaws that everybody has, but I feel like he was a good parent. But he was the main character of this show, and he is a person who actually never got to go to college. He was a dude who was an author of a really famous book series with a character named Rooster, and it was a character that I believe he felt like he always wanted to be, and I guess he got to be that in season 1. But I really liked this character. I really liked how much he helped a lot of characters in this show, and I loved the campus atmosphere with these different characters. I know we only were in a couple of different spots, like his home, the cafeteria, the classrooms for different characters as well, and we'll get to that, but I really liked how grounded, how I felt like I was actually there for a lot of the sequences, and I just really love the comedy. And it's not just Steve Carell that was just a really good major piece to the show. It was the supporting cast, and huge shout out to Charlie Clive. She plays Katie, Greg's daughter in this show. Really loved her. Really loved how funny she was with a lot of the times. It seemed like she was emotionless when she would say stuff, but she was just very funny. And her and Steve Carell, I actually did believe that was her daughter. That was his daughter, because she did a very good job, and she was very believable to me. And they had really good chemistry, if that makes sense. They had really good moments with each other. And Steve Carell as a dad, I mean, I know he's old, but he really did play a good part as the dad in this show. And one of the scenes that I thought was really good, there are a lot in the show, and that's why I really liked it, mainly between how he was trying to help her through the certain situation that she gets in, because this is a wacky show, this is a crazy show, and what she starts off doing in this show to get into the chaos of what happened was she accidentally lit her ex's, or actually her still husband's, house on fire by accident, and it caused a lot of, okay, dad's got to teach some college students since she has to step out. He got to make up for a couple of lessons, and she may get fired. Spoiler, she doesn't, but love it because it made more chaos on campus. There were a lot of other really good supporting cast with it too. Phil Dunster, if you guys don't know who that is based off the name, that is a character who plays Jamie Tart in Ted Lasso. He plays a really annoying professor in this show who I was happy with the end result with. I don't know if there's going to be a season 2 for the show yet, but if there is, I kind of hope there's no redemption for this guy. I know it's bad to say, but I really hope there's no redemption for this guy. If there is, bring in somebody else, have them leave these women alone. I'm tired of it. Get them out of here. But his character, all jokes aside, was very good in this show. Very annoying, but very well played and well played out. Another character who was really good, Dylan Shepard, who was played by Danielle Deadweiler. She recently, and I'm not trying to say too much on this, but I saw her in a recent episode of Euphoria. She was playing the mother of Alamo, and she's a very good actress. I'm trying to remember what else she's in, but in the stuff that I've seen her in, she's very good at what she does. In this show, I wish she had a little bit more parts in it, because I feel like she does have a major role in it. Don't get me wrong. She is, I believe, the head of all academics, the academic director, and her what she says goes. The professors report to her, but I feel like I wanted a little bit more from her character. I think it went more into Greg and Katie, which is obviously what you need to go with, along with Archie, or Jamie, whatever you guys want to call him. I just don't like him. I feel like we got more of them, but I wish we got more of her. I feel like at the start, in the first 2 episodes, maybe even 3, we had a good, like, especially episode 1. Like, I really loved her in episode 1. I thought that whole awkward interaction she had with Greg was unbelievably funny. I was hoping they would play a little bit more into that, but it kind of chilled out a little bit, where it was like, okay, like, Dylan was like chill with Greg, and it was like, okay, I mess with you. You're cool. We could be friends. Let's talk a little bit more and have some fun. But besides that, she was like the observer of all this chaos that was going on, which isn't bad, but I wish there was some of that chaos getting towards her too. And I know it's a bad thing to say, but I just wish that, I think it would have been so funny to see how she was dealing with the same type of stuff that Katie, that Greg, that Archie, even stinking Sunny, who I'll get to soon, was going through. But she was a really cool character. And if there really is season 2, I hope they can bring her into the chaos as well. I hope. Because there were just so many times, it was just, felt like sometimes she was a little bit off the side, but she had the right comedic relief that was unbelievably funny. I felt like she was an audience member like us, where it was like, she was hearing the stuff that was going on, and she was just like, so you're not going to do that again, right? Right? Okay, that's cool. So now, give you a warning, let's go. Let's just forget about all this happened. Let's go. Let's go get some ice cream. Let's go ride a little electric bike, motorcycle, whatever thing. I think those things are cool. I just don't know what they're called. And let's just put it under the rug. Let's put whatever just happened under the rug. But I still loved her character. Still really did. Like, a lot of these characters I'm gonna mention, like Sunny, played by I apologize if I butcher this name, Lauren Tsai. Really liked her as well. She was a character I felt bad for because she was with Archie, and I don't like Archie at all. But she was really funny, and she had like dry comedy, but she was just very, like, the point she hit at certain times whenever certain characters were talking to her was unbelievably funny. She had a straight face 24/7, but whenever she said certain things and whenever she said certain jokes, even though they didn't feel like they were supposed to be jokes, was very on point. And I just really liked her character. I feel bad for her, but I really liked her. Same with Christy, played by Annie Mumolo, I want to say. Annie Mumolo. She was incredibly funny. She was one of my favorite side characters because she ends up being one of the love interests to Greg, and also didn't know that she was the mother of Tommy, another side character who I grew to love, played by Maximo Salas. But just trying to wrap it up a little bit more, love all, like, this whole supporting cast. I love the students. I loved the professors. It gave me like vibes of the English teacher, and I'm still sad that they canceled it because I was looking forward to season 3. Because season 1, I was like, this is pretty good. Season 2, I was like, wow, this is really good, and I really started to like all these other characters. I got to know them, and then all of a sudden you cancel the show, and I'm like, well, great. Built me up for what? But I'm getting that with this. I feel like I like this season 1 more than the English teacher season 1 more, but it still was very funny and interesting. I think there's still more that needs to be told, but it's still a good start. It's still a very good start. And I think for like, I don't know if this is a book series or something that's being adapted from the past, but I really like it. And I think that I would really like to see a season 2 to see how things play out. I think the way it ended, even if it were to get canceled, I think I still would watch this again. And I feel like it had a good enough ending where it's like, okay, you know what? HBO, I get it. You canceled it, and I'm going to be mad about it for a bit, but I can still go back and watch this show again from episode 1 to episode 9, I believe, 9 or 8 episodes, and I'll still be satisfied because it was that nice to watch. Even the cop that was in the show was really funny. The hockey arc that they had for a second, I thought was funny. I thought they would play that a little bit more into that. Because I thought it was interesting, and also because I kind of like hockey. I know I'm a basketball guy, and I don't want to claim I'm baseball. I love the Dodgers, but I don't know too much about stats and stuff to say I'm a baseball fan. You know what? I'm a Dodger fan. I'm gonna say that. I'm a Dodger fan. Boom. But hockey is cool. You guys ever go see a hockey game? It's unbelievably cool, and it's gladiators on ice, very dangerous, but I love whenever I see certain scenes with hockey in it. I'm a huge D1 to D3 Mighty Ducks fan. I love that movie. And anything hockey you give me, I love it. But I wish, or actually no, because Greg getting involved when that was pretty good. But it was overall a really good show. A lot of chaos. And even me just mentioning hockey with this show just tells you a little bit of how crazy this gets. A professor teaching and coaching hockey? What happened? You got to watch the show. You really do. Like, that's how crazy it got. But I really enjoyed this, and every episode there was just something crazy, something crazier. So I told you in episode 1, Greg's daughter burns down her husband's house. Episodes 2 through 8 or 9 is when it gets crazier over and over again. So I'm trying to think. I was thinking after episode 1 and how she burned down the house, I'm thinking, how much crazier can this show get? And I'm thinking maybe it gets to that point where it's just total destruction everywhere on campus. Not quite that, but it was still very enjoyable. And the reason why it was enjoyable is because there is drama, and it's not like crazy anxiety-ridden drama that hits you. It's more of like drama where you're trying to see where it's going, and it's surprising, but not like, oh my gosh, eat some popcorn surprising. It's more of like, oh wow, why would you say or do that? What is wrong with you? Oh my goodness. Wow, you're unhinged, all that. And that mainly goes with, and I think that's what carries it to me, the love triangle between Katie, Sunny, and Archie. I think that was the reason why I was really watching it the most after episode 1, because obviously when Greg comes in, like, I'm loving how he gets to experience college. I'm loving how he gets to teach these students how to be better writers and also talk about like his life and what he's missing along with them. But it was very addicting to me to want to know, is he going to stick with Sunny or stick with Katie? Because this is where the bomb drops, okay? This is where the bombshell drops. Archie, the man whose house gets burned down, has an affair with a student, and that student was Sunny. The student was Sunny. And, you know, the wife finds out Katie. She's mad, rightfully so, going in on him. But then another bombshell drops, which I just went, oh my gosh, you're screwed, bro. You're done. You're dead. Archie finds out from Sunny that she is pregnant. Instantly. Oh my gosh, how is this going to play out? What is going to happen? And it's crazy. Like, it's through the rest of these episodes, I'm just wondering, who is he going to end up with? Because I know it's not just going to be a simple, like, yeah, well, I got her pregnant. I'm going to stay here with her, and we're just going to see each other through the halls, and that's it. No, I knew there was going to be some points where they're going to go back and forth of there's still feelings there. Probably going to have a little bit of lunch triangle. That's what was going through my head through this time. But this was interesting because it took its time way more than I expected. And it went all the way till the last episode. And the last episode is probably my favorite part. Like, the first episode, loved it, but the last episode, really love it, because in these last few episodes, Archie is playing with both of them. Archie is saying, like, I want to build a life with Sunny, but then he's going back to thinking Katie, going like, actually, I really want to be with you. Obviously, she's still feeling him. Obviously, Sunny is obviously feeling him, but Katie is the one who's like, nah, something feels a little bit off. So then Archie, playing with both of them, gets a decision. I love Sunny because she's super smart, love her, and I hope that she continues her career on, because I think she's funny, like, I really do. But gives Archie an ultimatum. Yo, it's either me or her. And you're thinking he's probably going to choose her, but he goes to Katie, says, I'm going to need you to decide if there really is a chance we can get back together. I'm going to need you to let me know. Take all the time you need. I'm going to need you to let me know. 3 or 4 minutes pass by in episode time. Next thing you know, it comes back to her. Yeah, I'm going to need you to tell me now. And then she's like, whoa, I can't really decide yet. So then when she says that, goes back to Sunny. Hey, so you know what? I'm in. And then just ignores Katie. But then all of a sudden stuff happens with Sunny, goes back. That's how crazy it is. Goes back to stinking Katie. Katie's like, wow, well, you barely gave me time. But you know what? let's try it. And then there's that whole thing. And finally, because that's another thing that goes through the show, Greg is still trying to be a father to his daughter, Katie, who is a little bit more grown. But he needs to, through this show, he's learning to accept that everybody around him needs to grow up, but he needs to realize that his daughter's grown now, and he needs to let her make her own mistakes, her own decisions, just let her live. And that's what he ends up doing. It's a very good decision because she gets the biggest test there. Should I go back to my ex? Should I go back to my cheating husband that cheated on me with a grad student? And I thought low-key she was gonna, say, you know what? Let's try it again. Let's make some more drama and bring back that other student for season 2, Sunny, where she's pregnant, probably has a kid now. There's a whole awkward vibe in season 2 coming back. But no, instead, she talks to Archie and says, I can't do this. I really can't. You're not a good person, and I'm just going to do my own thing. That's what I decide. Screw you. Have a good rest of your life. So she leaves. And then Archie... funniest scene in the whole show, because in the middle of that too, before they have that talk, Sunny says, I'm gonna need you to give me an answer, because he tries to break up with her during this whole thing, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna be leaving on this plane, I need you with me there. If you aren't with me, I know exactly what your answer is. So right after Katie dumps him fully and says she wants a divorce, he goes running back to Sunny. Running, and I'm just laughing because I'm like, if this guy gets to be with Sunny, I'm gonna be so mad. I actually might not like this show. But the one character that makes the whole show is Sunny's roommate, who always keeps going back and forth with Archie, and it's so funny. I love her. She's there in the apartment. He runs in. Hey, where's Sunny? I'm Sunny. I'm here. I'm trying to leave with you. And the character, the woman, what's her name? She was so funny. This is my favorite part of the show. Where is she? Oh my goodness, IMDb does not have her listed. That is disrespectful because she dropped the greatest line. Oh yeah, Sunny was here, but we put her on a flight earlier. 3 hours ago she left. And I went, she's been gone for 3 hours? 3 hours. And she's like, oh, you missed her. I was like, thank the Lord. I love Sunny's roommate. I'm so glad she did that. Because Sunny's roommate knew from the jump. She was like, this guy is terrible. And I was rooting for her. Like, every time she was rudely interrupting him, arguing with him over and over again, I was like, you go. You keep grilling him because he's a terrible person. And it just keeps showing over and over again in the show. And I'm just like, I'm trying to see if I can find her because, oh, there she is, Mo. Mo, played by Robbie Hoffman. I love you, Mo. I thought what you did was funny. I thought it was incredible. And you saved the show. Even though the show was already still going good, that moment really clicked for me. But it was a very funny scene, and it was a very aha moment, because if he were to get back with one of them, or if he were to end up with one of them at the end of the show, I would have been very mad, because he didn't deserve either of them. Sunny and Katie were very good people, very intelligent young women who deserved better, and they realized that. And even if people in the debate going like, well, Sunny's friend Mo knew, and Sunny kind of knew too. She kind of did. She was just a very loyal, chill person. But I love that moment. I really liked that out of the culmination of the whole show. Just loved that was the final, like, nail in the coffin to let us go to Greg's party in peace. Because if it got crazier than that, I would have been like, oh, man, I can't wait until season 2. But I'm trying to think. I think that was the biggest highlight. Like, I really love the stuff with Tommy and Greg. Like, how Greg was a father figure to Tommy that he pretty much needed through the whole show. I think that was fun. I think that was really nice too, because during that time, he's trying to be a father to Katie, but Katie, being more grown than Tommy and everything, kind of doesn't really need that right now. She needs to be able to make her own decisions and make her own mistakes. And in that meantime, through these episodes before that, Greg's helping Tommy out, who really does need a father figure. And I thought that was really nice in the show. I thought that was really great for a person who, like Tommy, who's cool. He was like, I'm not really trying to be in college. This isn't really for me. I don't think I can do this. And Greg is one of the only other people who believes he can do this, besides his mom, who is one of the love interests to Greg, who you find out about later, Christy. Okay, there were 10 episodes. I apologize. But it's just it was so nice to see, especially that moment between Tommy and Katie, where I believe it was on episode 7 or 8. I believe it was 8, where Tommy bumps into Katie in the middle of the cafeteria, and he's in a good mood. He's like, "Yo, like I'm getting my grades up in my classes, like everything's going good. Oh, hey, that's the daughter of Greg or Rooster, whatever he called him." And then he just decides to go up and talk to Katie, and it's just an awkward moment because Katie's just sitting there going like, "Yeah, okay, please leave me alone." But then Tommy, he makes her realize something really good. He's just like, man, like your dad's so cool. Like I really wish that he could have been my dad. Like I feel like he should have. Like I know that he's your dad and all that, and I know this is probably an awkward conversation, but I never really had a dad, and so it's great that you have somebody like that. And thank you. And it was just awkward. But then she's like, you need to leave now. But it makes her realize, yeah, I really do have a dad I can go to because she was in the middle of a conundrum, and she goes, knocks on his door and just sits down on the porch with him and tells him about her situation, about what's going on, why it's messing with her. And it was just so nice to see that. But that's one of the reasons why, a lot of the reason why I appreciate this show, because Greg was able to be or experience something that he never got to experience, college, and be a whole different person and experience that. But he was also able to still accomplish his goal of being there for his daughter, but he was also there for other people. So it was just a full circle moment where it's like, he got to be a dad and help out his daughter when she needed him most, but he also got to help out students, including one specific student who really needed a dad, and it was nice. But yeah, for this show, I'm probably gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because I would definitely watch this again, especially watching that first episode again. I have to, because those first interactions and the craziness that happened, so good. But I really liked it, and I think you would too. If there are Despicable Me fans, Steve Carell, any type of anything from The Office, any version that you've seen of Steve Carell in any show, any movie, you need to watch this show because it's one of his best. Definitely love this character for him, and I think you would love it as well. If you love The English Teacher, any type of comedy that takes place in a school, a college, you name it, this is the show for you, especially since it's so original. It's HBO Max. It's something different. Definitely not as crazy as The Office, but definitely pretty close to funny. I don't know. The Office has some funny moments, but this has some real good comedy. And obviously, if you're comedy fans, definitely, I highly recommend you guys watch this because it's so nice. It's well shot too. But you guys need to watch this show. It was really good. I don't know if it gets season 2, but if anybody's watching this who is interested or is thinking about it, please watch it too, because then drive up the viewership, get us to a season 2. I am very new to the Devil May Cry series. I remember seeing a trailer for the first time when I was a kid, and it was Devil May Cry 5. The trailer for it. And I thought it was really cool. I remember my friends were really like crazy for it. They were really big gamers, and I mean, I watched a lot of like video game walkthroughs, whatever. I never got to Devil May Cry until now. The first media I took in of Devil May Cry was Devil May Cry Season 1 on Netflix. I thought it was really good. I loved the soundtrack, loved the key song Afterlife, which I played over and over again. I was like, this is a really good song. But I really liked the character of Dante. Like, I really did. Like, I thought this dude was funny. I remember watching the trailer and going and seeing him doing all these action stuff. I saw him do that loop-de-loop in the plane when it was going down, and I was like, I have to watch this. I don't know what the heck this is, but I have to watch it. When I am so happy that I did. I know a lot of fans of the video game weren't big fans of the anime, and I was like, dang, because I really love it. It was one of my favorite projects from, I believe, 2 years ago. I just thought it was really cool, and I was just really impressed with the animation. I was really impressed with Dante and his comedy. And then when I heard that apparently Johnny Young Bosch was playing Dante, I was like, I have to watch this. That's the stinking black/green Ranger. I know he played the Black Ranger in Mighty Morphin. Then he played the Green Ranger in Turbo. But like, I had to watch it because of that. Like, I love him. And he just did an amazing job doing the voice acting and stuff. But I just really got so interested that once I finished the show, and also the White Rabbit, definitely one of my favorite villains. Like, I love him. That episode, I think it was episode 6 or 7. Had to do it. I'm sorry. But watching that episode and learning about the origin of the White Rabbit, I was like, wow. Learning the origin of both Lady and the White Rabbit, I was like, holy crap, this is insane. But got so into it. That ending for season 1 made me really want a season 2. If it got canceled, I would have cried. I'm so happy that it already got picked up for a season 3. Just letting y'all know before we get into season 2. So, to all you guys, and yeah, it's not going anywhere. So whatever. But anyways, Devil May Cry season 2. Before I got into season 2, I caught up on all the video game cutscenes from Devil May Cry 1 to Devil May Cry 5. I was told I got to start with Devil May Cry 3, then I can watch 1 and 2, and that's what I did. I loved 3. Holy crap, that's like my favorite one out of all 5 of them. 1 and 2, 1 was okay because it introduced us to Trish. I thought she was pretty interesting. 2, I mean, there's Lucia and Arius, who are characters in this season 2 that are key characters, which I thought they redeemed, in my opinion, after watching the story for Devil May Cry season 2. And correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like people hate Devil May Cry Devil May Cry 2. But anyways, get to Devil May Cry 4. Nero, super cool dude. I'm very curious on how they're going to introduce Nero into Devil May Cry, the Netflix series, if they will. Maybe they won't, but I would love to talk about that later in this review. Definitely really like Devil May Cry 5. I was almost close to putting it over 3, but I have to have 3 at the top. Like 3, the origin story of Dante, Virgil, Lady, the Jester, Mundus, and all these demons and stuff. And even being the origin for the title of his shop, Devil May Cry, was so cool to learn about. But I finally got caught up. I finally know why everybody loves this series. And I love these guys. I love Virgil. I love Dante. I love Lady, Trish, Nico, Nero, the Jester, Mundus, all these different characters. I was actually kind of confused because I don't remember Mundus really having too much of an involvement in the games from what I remember. But then again, I kind of sped through some of the stuff. But anyways, let's get into season 2. Season 1, really loved it. Soundtrack was good. Dante was really cool. And I think it was a great opening. But season 2 did a very good job of showing us, all right, now we have to build up in season 1. Let's give you guys the story and what's going on in season 2. Because we were introduced to Virgil in season 1. And we got to see him towards the end. But season 2, oh my goodness. In the games, I think it's 3 and 5, and then he shows up in 1 as Nilo Angelo, I believe. Don't kill me, Devil May Cry video game fans. Once again, I'm very new. I'm an infant right now. I am a newborn baby to this whole thing. Don't kill me. Just know I love you guys, and I love the game, and I love the whole storyline. I'm getting there. But I know Virgil shows up a couple of times. I'm still confused by the Nilo Angelo thing, but I know he does. But I love how they showed the rivalry, because I know that was one of the big things in the games. I know in Devil May Cry 3, there's a huge fight between the two, but Devil May Cry 5, there was a really good fight between the two. But they really did a good job of that in Season 2, and I thought that was impressive. I was like, holy crap, these guys, like that first fight that they have in Season 2, I was at the edge of my seat going like, this is nuts. And the soundtrack they played in that one, I was like, this is so cool. And they were really duking it out, especially when they had the second fight inside the stinking, inside the headquarters that they have at Darkham, I think. That one was so cool. But what really interested me is how they started Season 2. When Lady was sitting in that chair and she was talking with Dante, I felt like this was a different Lady, because obviously she changed towards the end of Season 1 in Devil May Cry, in the end of it. But she was very, like, you know, to the point, to the mission, hates demons, this and that. But then at the very start, when she's sitting in that chair talking to Dante, catching them up on what's going on, I was like, she sounds way more reasonable and way more, like, lighthearted. Like, she's not like, all demons are bad, I'm killing them all. And that shows us towards the, like, when we actually go more into Season 2, her saving those demons that are in those cages is like, now she fully understands there are some good demons and some bad demons. But it was so cool to get that start and to see that she has changed. But then again, I was very like, yo, where's Dante? What are we doing? But that soundtrack at the start, that song at the start, I was like, holy crap. This is already like getting me so hyped for this story that we're going to be getting into, which was really cool. Arius, because I know, once again, Devil May Cry 2, a lot of people weren't fans of it. Arius and Lucia are in this, and Lucia instead, because in the game number 2, Lucia is helping Dante out, and then later learns that Arius created her. And I don't believe she fights for Arius. It's more like she's with Dante, helps him out, and then everything's all good. Dante defeats Arius, and that's all. But in this one, Arius is still him. He's still trying to unleash chaos and everything, and he's still an evil dude, but he's way more evil, way more maniacal. And the coolest thing I thought the switch was that Lucia from the jump is a loyal servant to Arius, and I thought that was so cool because in the game I was kind of like, okay, this is a another woman who's probably going to be part of the whole Trish, Lady, Lucia, and then Nico type of thing. I mean, Nico technically, Nico's more like with Nero in DMC5, but it was so cool that they just made it. No, let's just make her a stinking like evil, like have her be the number one right hand person to Arius, and I was like, okay, that's a pretty cool change to me because when I watched the Devil May Cry 2 cutscenes, I was like, this is kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie, this doesn't seem that interesting, but this was really cool, and she was very dangerous and scary, which I was like, wow, I like this. But having that change in there, super cool. Having Arius be way more dangerous than even the White Rabbit, super cool. But definitely the stuff with Mundus and Virgil, I thought was really well put and well explained. And how they showed the cruelty that Virgil went through when he was taken from his home and brought to the demon world and was tortured, was taught how to use his demon trigger, is what they call it in the games. And the abuse he went through was insane, bro. Like, so bad for him. I was like, for the last couple years, you've been dealing with this, being the right hand man to Mundus and just doing all this stuff. And I instantly, even from the jump of season 2, when he's explaining all this stuff, when you have these demons going to kill Dante and Virgil's mother for no reason, lighting the house on fire and stuff, it's like, I mean, who else do these demons answer to? Like, it's gotta be Mundus. Like, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, Virgil, I know you angry, man, but you kind of gotta realize these are the same demons you fighting with, bro. Don't you feel like these guys are with Mundus? Like, don't you? Isn't that a sign at all? But, you know, plot. I'm not trying to make fun of it. I thought it was cool because then right when he finds out, oh, Mundus ordered these demons to kill my mother, it's like, oh, you in trouble. You in real big trouble, man. Oh, man. But finally, when we go more into season 2, it did something that I always had a question, or not always, when I first started watching the cutscenes and actually having, because, you know, in season 1, I had a feeling Lady and Dante were going to, like, have romance a little bit. But when I watched the games, and when they first introduced you to Trish, then you have Lucia, then you have Lady, then you have, well, Nico's not really a love interest, she's just a cool character. But you have these 3 women, and it's like, they kind of feel for Dante, but kind of don't, they're there for him, they're loyal and all that, but they are just there. I was kind of like, I feel like with how Lady's arc is going in season 1, I feel like there should be some romance with her. So you get to season 2 and, you know, she's helping out Dante. She feels more for him. She's listening to him when she's talking. It's like, okay, maybe there is something. Then you have the whole thing happen where Virgil transports them to another area of the world and Dante saves the day for a second. Great moment. Lady's feeling like she lost again, but Dante came up clutch like he usually does, and boom, Lady was so in the moment, she kissed him, and I was like, oh, they're really going for the romance with it. I like it. And I thought that I think Lady and him make more sense to me instead of Trish, and I'm gonna get into that later because I have a small little theory that I think Netflix is gonna do. A small theory, okay? But I really love how they showcased Lady and Dante's romance because it's not just that one moment. It's not like a whole like, oh, that was just in the moment. It's whatever. No, there are actual feelings there. And they really do a good job of showing that in the show. So after, I know it was the last episode they kiss, the literal next episode starts with the kiss and then she pushes Dante down. Dante's like, what the heck? But then instead of going like, yeah, it was just a moment thing and just cutting it there, she goes, maybe another time we could talk when the world's not ending. And I'm like, oh, so she really does have an attraction to Dante. She really is feeling him. Like, there are real feelings there. And I was hoping, I was like, there's got to be another scene where they really connect. And there is. The place that Virgil transports them is to a person that they believe can destroy an artifact that Arius is trying to use to take over the world, to try to bring chaos to Earth and both the realms. The demon realm and Earth, hell, whatever you want to call it. When they go to this place to have this person destroy this artifact, there's a moment where they actually have time to chill, to talk, and actually connect. And it's a very good scene because it shows you how much they have changed since season 1. Lady brings up oh, we can relax for a second. Dante's like, I haven't done this in a while. Same with her. But then she says, you always seem like you're relaxed. And it's not like a jab at him. It's more of like but you always do seem like in the world, like you're relaxed. And then she brings up, like, to try to actually calm down and like make him not freak out. She goes like, yeah, but I feel like there's a reason for that. Like, obviously you're not trying to have your emotions go too much into it. But then even he starts telling her the reason why he has to like be that way. But he's also telling her like, he actually does take things serious, because if you guys know Dante, he's very funny, very charismatic, very like wild. He's crazy, and I love it. But for him to open up like that, it was just really nice, and they both were just listening to each other. It was a nice, quiet moment. But then Dante goes over to her, because then she starts explaining some stuff, and they kiss again. And you know what they do after that, it's up to your own interpretation. It doesn't really show us, but I don't care. I love that there was a moment like that in the show that shows us this isn't just for play. We're really going to give you a romance between Lady and Dante, and I love that. Or Dante and Lady. I don't know. After season 1, I don't know what they decide. But I really like that, and I really like that they stuck to it, and I'm curious on if they're going to stick to it, or if they're going to be like, let's make a love triangle with Trish and Lady, which I hope they don't do, and I'm going to get into that now, all right? So, now let me get towards the ending. The way it ends is, and spoiler alert, Dante and Virgil are, Aries kind of wins, opens up the rift, but it ends up having to actually be Dante and Virgil who open up the rift. And Aries is his full, forgot what the thing was called, Algo Sax or something, the whatever, he's Satan. He's the king of demons, whatever type of form. And he's going to take over the world. But Dante and Virgil transport him over to the demon world where he's going to fight Mundus. They duke it out. Mundus kills Algosax or whatever, the demon king dude, whatever. Aries is out of the body, kills Algosax, whatever. I think Aries might still be alive. But now, you have a problem. The rift is still open. And Dante and Virgil know they have to close it. Because if Mundus gets over, he wins. They're battling all these like demons. They're doing a really cool thing. Their chemistry in fighting was unbelievable too. I thought those were also cool moments. This whole season was just super cool. And having that moment where they finally got to both say jackpot, and Virgil just going like, why do you, I hope you still don't say that thing. And he's just like, jackpot. That's why I love them too. They're just polar opposites, and I love it. But they did something very interesting where Virgil finds out that Mundus put a hit on his mother and the house, burned it down, everything. Basically, Mundus killed his mother. And he's like, I got to kill you, bro. I do. I got to duke it out with you. But also, I cannot have Dante here. I got to do this on my own. So they duke it out, Dante and Virgil. And it's a very cool fight. Definitely a huge callback to the earlier fight they had as kids, which I thought was insane that Virgil learned that. Like, Virgil was thinking, bro is detailed. Bro is like very observant, but he defeats Dante in that fight, and he sends Dante back to Earth with their 2 lockets together, the blue and the red one, to close the rift. But Virgil stays back, and he says that he's going to take down Mundus because of what he did to his mother. And I thought that was gangster. I was like, yes, sir. You ain't serving him no more. You're going to kill him. But the show ends, showcases that Dante's back in the world. Lady is going to go after the Jester, and we have stories for season 3, which I'm excited for. But the thing now that I'm not confused on, I'm just curious on, is 1, is Nero going to come in this anime show? 2, is Trish coming along with Nico? And 3, if they were to be brought in, how would they do that? Is there going to be a time skip? Because I believe in the games, Devil May Cry 3, if we're going by chronological order, this is a young Dante, a young Virgil, a young Lady. Devil May Cry 1 and 2, same a little bit. This is a little bit more established Dante. Then he runs into Trish, runs into Lucia, and he's a little bit more established. I feel like that was probably a 1 or 2 year gap. We get to Devil May Cry 4, introduced to Nero. Dante looks a little bit older, looks like he's been doing this for a while, the demon hunting business, Devil May Cry business, and he looks like he's been doing it probably for 7 or 8 years. Probably, maybe even more. I'd say more. I'd say probably like 20 years. But then you find out in Devil May Cry 5, and this is a spoiler if you guys have not finished the games, do not watch the rest of this. Pause it, watch it later after you finish it. Please. I don't want to ruin your chance at the video game. Here it is. You find out that Nero is the son of Virgil and that Dante is his uncle. And you're like, whoa, what? At least I was. I was like, how? I kind of should have guessed that because I was wondering why Brody didn't know Dante at the start of Devil May Cry 4 and he was just fighting him even though he kind of looks like him. I was like, maybe he's his son from a woman Dante messed with a long time ago. But it was always very curious to me. So then when I get Devil May Cry and find out Devil May Cry 5 and find out, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But that's why I'm like, there's got to be a time skip when going into season 3 if you're gonna bring in those characters. If you're not, I'm totally fine with that. If you're just gonna finish out this story and then do whatever, if you're not even gonna introduce those characters, all cool. But my belief is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Devil DMC fans, but I believe a lot of you all love Nero, and I know the voice actor for Nero is playing Dante in the Devil May Cry Netflix show. But that's another reason why I'm thinking they may not bring Nero in, because who else would be the best voice for Nero than the dude who's playing Dante? But then again, you never know. I love that he's playing Dante. I think his voice is very good. I think he's super funny, and that's cool. But that's why I believe maybe they're not bringing in Nero. But one thing I think they do have to do, and this is what I'm getting into, I think Trish should be in there. I don't know why. A small part of me is just going like, I would love to see Trish in this. Season 3 feels like there could be a chance, especially with Mundus, but I know that in Devil May Cry 1, Trish was under the mind control or under control of Mundus. And I think there could be a play on that in this. So my theory is this. You get into season 3, you have your time skip. Instead of Trish being under the control of Mundus, I believe that Trish is going to be under the control of Virgil. And maybe, just maybe, they're going to do their own thing where it's like Trish and Virgil are together. And Trish and Virgil birth Nero. I'm just saying, I feel like that could be a thing they could do. I see a pathway only because with Trish, yeah, Devil May Cry 1, she comes in, she tricks Dante on some stuff, then she saves Dante, now Dante and her are like best buds, whatever, and then she shows up later on over and over again a couple of times, but I feel like this would add a little bit more to her character, because that's kind of all we get, is that she's one of Dante's cool best friend bounty demon hunter buddies that comes in and helps out, just to come in and help out. But I would love that switch, like how they did with Lady and Dante. I would love to see that with Virgil and her. Like maybe there could be a little bit of love there. Maybe there could be a, like Virgil was manipulated by Mundus. Trish was manipulated by Mundus somehow. Maybe they could come together and do, bond through that. But I would love that. I really would, especially if Trish is the mom of Nero. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I thought that was one weird thing in the games where I was like, okay, you have Nico, Trish, Lady, and they're just his best friends who out of the blue just decided to keep following along with it, which I don't get me wrong, I think it's cool. I just wish there was a little bit more of a background besides Mundus controlled me, besides my father was evil and he was demonic like, so now I want to kill all demons who are like him, which isn't bad, but I wanted more, and that's what I got with Lady, which I think is cool, and I think they should do that with Trish. I think they should. And if it's that, I think Trish and Virgil would be awesome together. But yeah, that is one of my theories on it. I'm trying to think of anything else. With Nico, it's not like a crazy thing. I just really liked her in Devil May Cry 5. I thought she was funny. I love that she's like the mechanic, especially with Nero's different arms and stuff, along with different weapons. But I just thought she was super cool. And she's the granddaughter, I believe, of Nell, the woman who was and I thought that was a really cool, Nell Goldstein, I believe her name was. I thought that was a really cool spoof or small cameo. I think she showed up twice. In episode 2 or 3, and then in the last episode of 8, when she's giving Lady her weapons or costume, and then when she's giving Dante Ivory and Ebony, which I thought was a very cool scene too. I was like, wow, this is nuts. But if Nico isn't in it, I'm not tripping, but I think it would be super cool to have Nero have a buddy. But then there's a whole complicated thing, because then you have Kyrie and stuff, and I like Kyrie for Nero, but then do you just dump Kyrie and just have Nico and Nero do? I don't know. I'm just thinking of the different love triangles. But either way, whatever they do going forward, I'm totally down for. I really love the storyline in the video games, but so far, I'm also really liking the storyline in the Netflix anime series, which I think is super cool. Right now, I am currently trying to finish the anime that they have for Devil May Cry on Crunchyroll. It feels like this anime came out in like the 2000s. It's kind of like that, like the X-Men anime thing that they had. I'm not totally sure. I think it's cool so far. You know, this is the Patsy little thing in the first episode and stuff, but I think it's pretty cool. But I really like Devil May Cry. I understand why fans really love these characters, really love Dante, Nero, Virgil, all of them. I used to see a whole bunch of different people dressed up as them on Halloween and stuff, and I'd be like, who are these guys? All I saw was the red jacket and the blue jacket, and I'd be like, this is super cool. But I understand the fandom, and I think it's super cool. I think it's very addicting too, because I'm a full fan of Dante, but I really like all these characters. I really do. But I will be with, I'll be cool with whatever they want to do. I'm just curious on what they're going to do, because it sounds like they're trying to do a better version of the chronological order of how the story was told in the video games, and trying to redeem a lot of the stuff that fans hated in the video games. But like I said, I'm down to see how they can do it. I'm down to see, I hope for them to keep this rock and roll, crazy heavy metal type of soundtrack going, because it's really cool. It sounds incredible, and it's different. I don't think I've seen a lot of stuff besides, I'm trying to think of something that has like a really good heavy metal type of, maybe Attack on Titan. The soundtrack for that is incredible, but it's just so nice, and the fights are good. The colors of these different characters and their jackets, their costumes, the areas there is really cool, but the way they tell story as well is good. So I hope that for season 3 they go again in their bag and even give us a mix of the White Rabbit and Virgil's story wrapped up in the one. But I'm excited. I'm so glad that this was picked up for season 3 off the bat, even before season 2 came out, and I'm here for it. But if I'm you guys, if I had suggested to anybody, 1000% to Devil May Cry fans, 1000% to anime fans, 1000% to heavy metal rock fans, and definitely to those who are trying to get into anime. I think this is something easy. If you aren't a huge video game person and you just want to watch an anime, I think this is a good start, because it kind of adapts to video game, kind of doesn't, but it's trying to make it on its own. But it's really cool, and I highly suggest it to those, especially if you're trying to try. But yeah. Oh yeah, Mom, sorry. Before I finish off, I'm giving season 2 a 9 out of 10. Definitely a 9 out of 10. I think I gave 9 out of 10 to season 1. And I'm going to say this is a higher 9 out of 10. But I love season 2. I can't wait for season 3. Keep cooking. All right, guys, on to our last review. And this has been a weird episode, because for the first time ever, it's just been on shows. And usually we do movies, but this is our last one. And this is on a show that I recently watched called Off Campus, and this is season 1. And I really feel like there's going to be a season 2, because it's really popular right now. But season 1 so far. By the way, this is a show that is on Amazon Prime Video, that is about a guy and a girl who are both on different sides of this college campus that they live on. One being a hockey jock, the other one being a musical genius, and they both end up falling in love. And this is the story, how they fell in love. I'm just playing. It's not like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood type thing or something, but this is definitely like one of those like teens, like, you know, young adult type of shows that I thought was going to be pretty cheesy. It had its moments, but it was actually pretty nice to watch. I was surprised. The start of it, I was kind of like, this is giving me way too many vibes of that one show or Netflix movie with the one girl who actually wrote letters to all of her crushes. I believe that was like To All the Boys Who Ever Loved Me or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. And I apologize if I got that wrong, but it was giving me that vibe for a sec. But this is it had some pretty good moments that shocked me. If you guys don't know, the two characters' names are Garrett Graham and I think her name was Haley Wellesley. I know the last thing, every single episode I got confused because Garrett always called homegirl Wellesley. But I'm just trying to remember what her first name was. Oh, Hannah Wells. Okay, Hannah Wells. And I instantly knew, and I know in the first review I did, we were talking about hockey, and obviously this being about a hockey jock, had to watch it. I was interested to see how they were going to tell the story. But they were very interesting characters. Very interesting characters. They both had very interesting dilemmas and problems and situations that they were dealing with internally that I was getting really drawn into. Like, in movies or TV shows that are like this, especially the ones that were from ABC Family or Freeform or whatever you want to call it, like, I wasn't too into it. Like, the whole, Pretty Little Liars type of vibes. I wasn't too into that. I was very more on the like even Teen Wolf had its cheesy moments, and this kind of felt like it was giving Teen Wolf drama type vibes. But this was different. So I'm gonna get into spoilers a little bit already, just to get out the way. I'm gonna start with Garrett. Garrett was a little bit more easier to figure out because, you know, he's a hockey jock who was trying to make it to the pros, trying to make it to the NHL, and you can see there's a lot of pressure on this guy's shoulders. There's a lot. And instantly, when you start hearing in through the show that he doesn't like his dad, he doesn't like his dad, he doesn't like his dad, like he really hates his dad, and you start seeing and hearing why he doesn't, I'm guessing, did his dad abuse him? Did his dad hit him? And was it also the pressure of living up to his dad's name? Because his dad's like this pro hockey legend who has the name Graham, and everybody looks at Graham and they're like, oh yeah, that's his son. Oh yeah, that's the next NHL hockey pro, whatever, who's going to be up there. Instantly, I'm already thinking, yeah, he's under a lot of pressure. But I'm like, there's got to be more than just that, man. There's got to be layers. So, yeah, that part comes in. You find out that his dad was abusing him and his mom, was hitting them. And it was like, wow, okay, that's a lot. Because you saw the anger issues he was going through. You saw the flashbacks. You see that when he gets angry, it's hard for him to get it under control. And that's where Hannah comes in. Sweet Hannah. Very nice woman who was she was very nice. I liked her. Like, there were points where I thought I was going to be annoyed with her in episode 1 and 2, but she really grew on me. Both of them really grew on me, but a lot of this cast grew on me, which I'm very hopeful that they make a season 2, but I'll get to that soon. But Hannah is a very interesting character. She's a musical genius, very creative, very has a very nice voice and very energetic. When she doesn't seem like she's energetic at first, but right when you see her sing, dance, do all this stuff, play instruments, you're like, wow, she has a spark to her. But there was a scene where I instantly knew, oh, there's way more going on, because she seemed pretty quiet, and at the start I'm like, wow, you seem so bright, but what happened to you that you're so quiet? And there's a scene where a guy walks by because she works a couple of jobs at the college, in the stadium, in a local diner, you name it. She's just trying to do her best to pay for college. And a guy just, when she's like looking out, she's restocking some stuff and she's minding her own business. But when she looks up, she looks to her right, there's a guy there. We don't know who the guy is. We just see there's a guy there, and it causes her to have a panic attack. And you're wondering why. But then I start thinking to myself, and I'm like, if seeing a guy has her get a panic attack, there must have been something that happened in the past. And you find that out, that she apparently was R-word raped in high school, and it was by a person who played hockey. And that was crazy to hear about, because I'm like, holy crap, you've been bottling that up too. So you have these two characters that you love and are rooting for that are just both dealing with internal problems that they just have a hard time talking about. And it's so nice at the start, which I thought was really cool. Like, at the start, in there's 8 episodes in total. And then, you know, they have this cheesy, like, I'm going to help you get with this guy. But we have to, like, pretend that we're together in order to do it. And you're thinking that they're going to get together later. That's why I thought this was cheesy. You thought they were going to get together later on, at the very end of the season. But they end up getting together in episode 4 or 5. And you're like, whoa, then what the heck else is going to happen in these next 4 episodes? And let me tell you, it was a test of their relationship, but also a test of everybody in this show. Sporty Cast had some pretty good subplots that was very addicting to watch. I think I finished this show in like 2 or 3 days, because that's how invested I was. I was like, I gotta see how this plays out. Almost like the way Rooster is. If Rooster was one whole thing, I would have finished that whole thing in I want to say a day, maybe 2. But I just really had to see how this was going to play out. So you find out, once again, the guy who raped Hannah is a guy who actually plays for a rival team that Garrett's college team is playing up against. And when Garrett finds out that the guy he's playing up against is the one who raped Hannah, beats the crap out of him. Good job, by the way, Garrett. I'm sorry, man. Like, I understand that it costs a lot of stuff, but we don't tolerate that at all. We don't. And for Brody to say the thing he did, especially during that game, you're lucky he didn't kill you. You're lucky he didn't kill you. But the scene that followed after, you really do, after all, you know, the fun and games of like, yeah, Garrett, good job. Like, you really do understand why probably isn't the best to, you know, lash out and beat the crap out of somebody sometimes. And I learned that. I learned that. So after he beats this guy up viciously on the ice, his own coach suspends him, and the NCAA league, or whatever they called it, makes it where they have to forfeit their games that they previously played, where they have 17 losses and now they got to play catch up. And I'm like, holy crap, that is a really big punishment. But you learn another reason why it's not good to lash out. And I thought that was a really good scene to remind some people too. Hannah talks to Garrett, tells him exactly why he shouldn't have lashed out the way he did, and honestly saw Hannah's point. Like in other cases, there would be times where I would have been like, nah, Garrett, good job, man. You beat the crap out of that graper. But Hannah gave good points on why it isn't the best and why she didn't want him to do that. And I was like, oof, man, that honestly really did hit. That really did. But I was like, man, Garrett, I think we screwed up. And I'm not even in the sticking show. I'm sitting there feeling bad like, dang, Hannah, I'm sorry. I was over here apologizing to my sticking screen like, I'm sorry, Hannah. Because, you know, like I said, we don't tolerate grapists and all that. We don't. But there are times when it's not, you know, the right time to do a certain thing, like beating them up or something. Usually the truth comes out, and that was probably one of them where truth should have came out. But I just felt bad for Hannah because that was a lot for her, especially to see Garrett freak out the way he did. But it was a lot for both of them because Garrett, after that whole thing happened, he's looking at himself going like, am I my dad? Am I going to be like that? And out of that fear, he breaks up with her, and you're like, holy crap. Whoa, that was deeper than I thought. It wasn't just the whole lash out. I beat him up, like, that's no fair. Like, instead, he was like, I don't think you should be with me because I really do feel like I'm going to be my dad. Like, I think we should break up. And it's like, whoa, slow down real quick. Just talk. Wait a minute. Take a beat. But that was very interesting. And the way they handled it, the way they talked it out, the way they finally opened up about the different things they were struggling with was really good. And honestly, it's a testament to today because there's so many times we bottle things up in ourselves and act like we got to fight our own battles. But there's a lot of times we just need to talk to somebody, anybody, and just like not even just play out certain situations, but also just have somebody to be there for us. Because you never know, like if you get a panic attack, like both of them had their own panic attacks and they were freaking out and they had nobody else they could speak to. But imagine they didn't even know each other and all that stuff was happening. And you just can't imagine what they probably would have done. Like, it just sucks. But it's so good that they had each other to speak through that whole situation, through the whole anxiety that they were feeling in order to even not just understand each other more, but just know how to be there for each other. I think that's a good way to be in a relationship. I feel like that's good communication, too. I mean, it took them a long time, like, holy crap. But it's good that they're starting. And it's good that, you know, they got that experience. But I know I was talking about Hannah and Garrett this whole time. I just really thought their characters were really interesting. I'll just let you guys know, too, this is a book series, apparently. I did not know that going in. I was just like, hey, this is popular. Let me watch it. But these two characters are really interesting. But there were a lot. This whole supporting cast is really good. Ali Hayes, played by Mika Abdallah. She was very good. She's probably my favorite character in this show. Dean De Laurentiis, I hope I said that right, played by Stephen Kalen. Very good character as well. I didn't even think that was going to happen. Jalen Thomas Brooks, who plays John Tucker in this show, I believe he's in The Pit as well. I didn't know he was going to be in this, but he was really cool. I hope that he has more if they're going to be doing a season 2, because I thought his character was really cool. He was like the heart of the group, the heart of the hockey team, but I wish he had a little bit more. And then the homeboy, Antonio Cipriano, a.k.a. John Logan. He was a very good character who actually did have some good points in this show. He played the best friend of Garrett, who plays on the hockey team as well, who has something to lose as well. I believe this is his last season, trying to make it to the pros, and he just needs this season to go super well. But he also had some conflicting feelings, some conflicting stuff, where he has feelings for Hannah as well that he bottles up. And none of the other characters, except for his sister, who was also another cool character in this show, she's the only other person who knows. But I'm curious to see what happens in the future between these characters. But I really like these people. I really liked all of them. There were 3 different arcs that happened in the show that I thought were very well done. But all these characters they had. You had Justin Cole as well, a sub character, like really sub, but a cool arc in the beginning of the show. Bo Maxwell, friend of Dean, who I thought was really cool. Along with Sean McCall, Birdie, David. He was cool. I thought he was good support for Hannah, but he was a nice character. Dexter, Coach Jetson. There were a lot. This whole cast did a good job. Like, they did a very good job. I don't think I've seen any of these other people in other projects before. I really feel like I've seen Belmont Camelli, aka Garrett Graham, in another show. I want to say it was Saved by the Bell, the revival they did on Peacock. I feel like he was in that. One second, let me tap on it. No, Until Dawn. He was in Until Dawn. He was Abe. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I was like, I've seen this guy before. But all of these characters were so interesting and very well put in certain situations. But the number one side plot that I thought was really good was the side plot between Allie and Dean. These two were romantically involved, and they had something going on that was messing with both of them. Allie was a person who really wants love, but feels kind of trapped in the relationship she was currently in with a person she was dating since freshman year. And it was interesting because she detailed out exactly what she wanted. And then the guy who she was with, Sean, was like, yo, we can live in like in my hometown. Like, I have a really good job set for both of us. Like, we could retire, we could have a house, we could have family. Like, it's super easy and simple. But that's not what she wants. She wants to go to the big city. She wants to be an actor. Like, I thought that was interesting. I already knew it wasn't going to play out well because they both were on different timing. But, oh well. But Dean, he's a playboy type of dude, messing with different people, hockey jock, smashing with all these different women. Obviously, they're gonna bump into each other, but he ends up later developing feelings for Allie. And Allie, I mean, she kind of feels for him, kind of doesn't. It's kind of hard to tell towards the end, but you can tell there's something there. But what I thought was interesting, this is how season 1 ended. Spoiler alert, this is how season 1 ended. Allie, before they meet for their ending, which I thought was insane, before they meet for an ending, Allie tells Dean, since they were having a lot of trouble moving on, doing whatever, gives him a homework assignment saying that you have to hook up with somebody else and I have to hook up with somebody else because we gotta figure out this. That's how crazy this is. I know the way I'm describing it not too well, but they basically need to try to sleep with other people so that they don't, catch feelings for each other. Which I was like, Allie, I think it's the opposite. I think you just got to realize you have feelings for Dean. But either way, Dean tries it. He can't do it because he has feelings for Allie. Allie ends up doing it. She ends up sleeping with somebody. But it's a person she was trying to hook up with earlier with no feelings attached at all. It was just a booty call, a hookup, as you say. And you're thinking there is no harm, no foul. But, oh man, this last episode, everything's okay. Hannah and Garrett are back together. The team feels like they're actually like going in the right direction. They have a plan to get out of this slump they're in after receiving 17 losses for the punishment from Garrett. Everybody's friends again. But all of a sudden, oh man, Dean grabs Allie. Dean talks. I'm telling you, this is the ending of the show. Dean grabs Allie and tells her that he cannot complete the homework assignment. He can't do it. And it's because he wants to be with her. He only wants to be with her. And Allie, in disbelief, says, oh, Dean, you have to. You have to. Because I did. And he obviously gets a little mad. He's like, with who? And the guy that she hooked up with is a player that Dean had beef with since high school. And, Dean presses him. Dean starts beating him up. They go back and forth. And then the hockey team breaks him up. And then Allie's like, who is he anyway? Because she's obviously like, yeah, I just did it. It was meaningless. Like, there's nothing to it. But then when she finds out that's the dude that Dean has beef with, the season ends. I was like, wow, that was pretty well done. It makes me want to see more. Like, I hope they're working on season 2 as we speak because I got to see how this goes. But it was very well done. Very well done. And I still feel like there's some plots they can do. Or, well, one more plot in between that. I don't know how Hannah and Garrett are going to be. I didn't read the books. But I thought it was very interesting. I think the hockey aspect they brought into it was enough. I thought the lingo that they used was pretty good too. But I know this is definitely still more of like a, not high school drama, college drama. It's very well done, but I was impressed. I was entertained. And I think the chemistry that they showed for these different couples, very well done. I'm not going to say anything more. Obviously, if parents are listening, there's definitely nudity in it. But I'm going to just say the chemistry between these couples was good. Like, they were really well done, like, very believable. And I was impressed. But I am going to give this show an 8 out of 10 because it was very entertaining, had me glued. A lot of these shows today really had me glued that I talked about, but this one especially was just really well done, and I was impressed. And I would suggest this to people who love like high school, college drama shows, like the Pretty Little Liars, Teen Wolf fans, even sports fans, I guess of hockey a little bit. I would highly recommend this show for you, and it's simple. If you have Amazon Prime Video and you pay for a membership, or even if you have a way to watch Amazon Prime Video shows, watch this. It's good, it's entertaining, it's really interesting. It's shot very well. I think the color grading was really good too. But it's very interesting and very intriguing. So I would watch it if I were you guys. Even the fact that it's pretty fast to watch, and season 2 may come. It might. But I would highly recommend you watch this. And to anybody else out there, if you're interested, if you're curious, yeah, check it out. But yeah, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. All right, guys, this was actually going to be where I was going to have a what I've been watching section. But to be honest, I didn't really have too much besides one show that I've been watching. And I'm just going to do a little bit of, I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. The only show I've been watching right now is Insecure still. I'm still on season 1. And so far, I really like it. I really love the character of Issa Rae's character. I think she's really interesting, and I think she's pretty funny, especially her friends. I think the love interest that goes on, especially how they're going back and forth on what they do like, what they don't like. Is it me? Is it them? I think is very interesting, but also how they're portraying different stereotypes and how black people are being talked about or being viewed is very interesting, especially her workplace and how they, if you guys don't know, she works at a nonprofit, I believe, or profit. I think she gets paid for it, but it's a place that is trying to help kids who are underprivileged experience certain different things. And the way her coworkers talk about black culture is very annoying a lot of times. Very interesting, but very annoying. The way she talks or claps back in her head to them when they say certain things is very funny, very relatable, but I like the way she writes these. She has written these characters, and I like how complicated everyone is. I feel like mainly the two main women, herself and her friend, are the most complicated ones. But even the men, they are complicated as well. But they talk about a lot of different tropes so far that I think are pretty interesting. But I like it so far, and I hope to finish it as soon as possible so I can give you guys more of how I view this whole series. But so far, I really like it, and I think Issa Rae needs to do way more content, way more. Especially if she's gonna keep writing stuff like this, like it's very clever, very relatable, very interesting, and very unique. And I think there needs to be more of this. But I'm so sad that I just started watching this, but I'm very intrigued and very interested in finishing it. But I will give you guys more another time. But either way, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow PhilmPod on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. Make sure that bell as well. If you guys don't want to see my face, definitely listen to my voice on our Spotify account in the link down below. But anyways, I'm your man Phil. Also Film. Make sure to stay safe, take it easy, and peace, y'all.